Hey, this is Pete Schmidt. Thanks for tuning into this video and checking out my channel. So for this week's tutorial, I thought I'd improvise in the key of B flat, sort of like a solo in the jump blues style, especially giving a nod to the great TBoneWalker and the many other jump blues guitar players of the period of the late 40s into the 50s. I'm playing a hollow body guitar with the pickups out of phase, and going for a clean tone and playing some swinging saxophone and piano type lines. So it's just a 12-bar blues again, but I'm trying to phrase around the changes and to maintain that swing feel. So we'll move on with the tutorial, and remember you can subscribe to my channel. There's lots of lessons there, and each week I post something new. All right, we'll start it up. All right, my improvisational example is in the key of B flat major, and I'm playing it at a pretty quick pace with a boogie line or a jump blues bass line, something like this. Kind of a piano bass line, or well, I guess you could call it a boogie bass line. All right, so it's 12-bar blues, and typical to TBoneWalker and all the other guitar players of the era in the 40s into the 50s, they were playing swinging lines and playing pretty close around the chords. All right, keeping quite close to how the originals were playing this style, I stuck pretty close to a major sound. It is a major sound because we're using major chords, and our boogie bass line as well as a major sequence. So that means using the major scale and the major pentatonic scale, but in addition, some blue notes and some notes of the minor pentatonic scale because it's blues after all. As well, there's some chromatic sequences in there. So the major pentatonic, and the major scale, and in addition to his minor. Now I'm also throwing in the flat 5 in my sequence here. And playing it in a swing feel. All right, so sticking quite close to those chords. In this case, a B flat 6. All right, so there I played a little line on the 1, T-Bone style, maybe Tiny Grimes style, something like that, a fusion. And I finished my line and I'm into the 4. All right, so I'm marking the changes there just by playing the chord. Now, I could just play through, but in this case, playing by myself and doing a demonstration video, I just wanted to make it pretty clear where I'm at. So when I'm on the 4, I'm starting to think about this change on the 4. Right over here. That's my major pentatonic scale in the 5th position. All right, and here's my 4 chord here. I'm finishing with my 4 chord into the 1. All right, on the 5 chord as well, I'm marking that change. All right, so keeping pretty close to those chords and marking the changes. 6th chord, 9th chord on the 4, and on the 5, it's like a 2-5. That's that extension. And around the 4 and the 5 chord, I'm also using passing chromatic notes. For example, on the 4, as well on the 5 chord, 4. Even on the 1. There's quite a bit you can do with those chromatic notes. Filling in these scales, the major and the minor pentatonic scales, filling it in with chromatics really can expand the vocabulary a lot. Some of the other techniques that I was using through the improvisation are partial bends on the top E string, kind of a half bend. Back in the 40s and the 50s, the guitar players were using really heavy strings, so there wasn't, this predates the B.B. King or Albert King style bending. So partial bends. With a bit of a swing feel, it sounds pretty cool. All right. Very much in the style of TBoneWalker. As well, on the 4 chord, I was using some double stops. Just using the D and the G string gives it a real rustic sound. On the top end, really a lot you can do with double stops. All right. Right, another really important technique that I was using throughout my improvisation is totally derived from sax players and trumpet players. I believe they call it a trill or a slur, but this is the sound. All right, when I was starting out learning this jump blues style, when this discovery was made, it really helped things along. It really maintains that sense of swing, and it gives a lot of propulsion to the licks and the lines. Right, so that's something really important. A lot of the great jump blues guitar players were utilizing that. You'll hear it throughout T-Bone's jump blues playing. You'll also hear a lot of the modern players using that. Just listening to sax players and trumpet players, the greats, even back to the big band era, you'll hear a lot of that slur, trill playing. So that's something really important. That's where a lot of this jump blues lead guitar style comes from, those early big band era recordings. So I hope you enjoyed this video and got some ideas on improvising around an up-tempo jump blues. I've been a big fan of TBoneWalker, Tiny Grimes, Pee Wee Crayton, and all the great jump blues guitar players and musicians in general. As well, blues jazz, listening to sax players, trumpet players, piano and rhythm sections in general. So one album that I highly recommend checking out is T-Bone Blues from the late 50s. One of his greats. So many great songs on there and some real great jump blues. So once again, please subscribe to my channel. I got lots of videos coming up, including some more TBoneWalker style examples as well. I've got something new each week. So stay tuned and we'll see you again soon.